I thank the brothers and the organizers for allowing me, giving me this opportunity. Inshallah, we will all benefit from the words of Ahlul Bayt salawatullah wa salamu alayhim as we discuss the title of the Imam Al-Mahdi Ajjalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. What does it mean? As we know, each of our Imams had a name and also had a title. They were known by that title. It was relevant to what they did best or what their circumstances made very prominent in their life. For instance, when we speak of Al-Imam Zayn al-Abidin sallallahu alayhi, his name is Ali, but he has titles like Zayn al-Abidin or As-Sajjad because of the fact that in his life, due to the circumstances, he was prostrating and worshipping a lot. He was in a state of even a lot of his teachings, in fact, came in form of dua, supplication. Other Imams, Imam Baqir alayhi salam, his son Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi afdal salawat wa tahiyyat, he was named Muhammad, yet his title al-Baqir because he was dissecting and analyzing the knowledge and teaching his people and the Muslims at the time. He established a university, in fact, the first university known to mankind. Him and his son Al-Imam As-Sadiq they established that. Al-Imam Al-Mahdi, our topic, why is he given the title Al-Mahdi? And what does it mean? Many of you very familiar with the Arabic language and are well aware that the term comes from the root, the three-letter root, Huda, guidance. And Al-Mahdi, either the guided or the guide, the one who guides or the one who is guided. However, the ahadith speak about him being guided. Al-Mahdi, the title of him being guided. And that would bring a question. Are not the rest of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt guided? Why is he the guided one? Al-Mahdi Al-Muhtadi, another one of his titles. The guided one. What was he guided to, or what will he be guided to that made him special in this aspect and gave him that title? That is very important for us to know, as he is our Imam, our present Imam. If we do not know him, God forbid we die not knowing him, we die the death of Jahiliyyah, the death of ignorance. And matter. Whoever dies not knowing the Imam of his time dies the death of ignorance. In other words, has not even recognized Islam. In Islam, we need to know our Imam. Our Imam, our present Imam, has a title. We need to understand why does he have this title and what does it mean. Al-Mahdi, we said the guided one, guided to what? He will be guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to all the things that are unknown and hidden to humanity. He will bring out all the treasures and all the hidden things. Now, some of the riwayat speak about treasures. We have riwayat that speak about him bringing all the treasures out of the earth. Al-Tharawat, Sarbat. He will bring them out. What is the most important treasure? In the hadith explaining the story of Musa ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhi salam and Al-Khidr, one of the similarities that this beautiful poem recited by the lady pointed to the Khidr, the Imam having the similarity of the length of his life with Al-Khidr. Musa ala nabina wa Ali wa alayhi salam, he was traveling with Al-Khidr after asking for a permission and allowing him, provided he doesn't ask the questions. And this story that came in Surah Al-Kahf, beautiful story in the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Kahf. In one of the instances, they entered a city. Both of them entered a city and they were hungry. So they asked the people of that city to feed them. City or a town or a village, whatever it is. They asked them to feed them. They said, we're hungry. The people, for whatever reason, greed, lack of humanity in them, whatever it was, they denied. They refused. فَأَبَوْا أَن يُضَيِّفُوهُمْ. They said, no, we're not going to feed you. They went on in the city, they found a wall about to fall. It was crumbling or not very steady. Al-Khidr starts fixing it and tells Musa ala nabina wa alayhi salam, let's fix it. And they fix it. فَأَقَامَ. He fixed the wall. Then Musa ala nabina wa alayhi salam, he says, لو شئت لاتخذت عليه أجرا. These people were greedy. You asked them to feed us, they didn't feed us. Why did you fix it without taking some reward for it, some money for it, or some food? You could have asked for some compensation for it. It was the time he had, that was the third chance. He said, هذا فراق بيني وبينك. That's it. Now we're going separate ways. You ask when you were told not to ask, and that's it. We're done. Now the riwayat say, he explained to him in the Quran, the ayah explained that there was a treasure hidden belonging to two orphans, and their father was a good person, and therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted them to grow older before they find the treasure so that they can use the treasure. We have a riwayah that says the treasure, it was actually not monetary. There's a riwayah that says the treasure was not money. The treasure was a piece of advice. Nasiha, maw'aba. That was the treasure. Some people might wonder, why would he fix the wall for them to? Perhaps they were expecting a treasure from their father, not knowing where it is, and so that would give them motivation. Often in life, in expectation of something, you work towards it, thinking they will find a treasure. They lived a rich life, working towards the rich life, eventually to find that treasure, which is an advice. Which one is more important? A good advice that could change your life from one direction to another, or a good amount of a good check, a big check? What do you think? We have to think. We have to assess. Because if we are materialistic people, we might say it's the big check. Yes? But if we are godly people, we understand that the good word is much more important. The good advice is much more important. Hikmah, wisdom is much more important. Quran says, وَمَن يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. The one who gains wisdom is the one who has gotten a lot of good. خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Hikmah is the important. In the comparison between knowledge and wealth, money and knowledge, hikmah, wisdom, knowledge. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, in a story, a group wanted to try and basically get the Imam in a position that he cannot answer. It was known about the Imam that no question he will not be able to answer. Every question he answers. So they wanted to get him in a position where he does not give the good answer. They said, let's go to him and ask him the same question one after the other. One person goes to him, asks him, the second one, the third one. If he repeats himself and gives the same answer without any extra knowledge and wisdom, we will prove that he is limited. His knowledge is limited. So they came to him. The question was, which one is better? Al-ilm am al-mal? The first one came, the Imam gave him one answer. The second one came, the Imam gave him another answer. One after the other, the Imam gave him more to them. It's the same answer. Al-ilm is better. Knowledge is better. But why? He would give him a different reason. Every time a new reason. And then they ran out of people to ask before the Imam ran out of his answers and his explanations. And he said, by God, if they continued bringing one after the other until the day of judgment, I would give them more reasons. Now that gives us two aspects or two answers or two important issues. One point is the fact that the Imam has this unlimited divine knowledge. He has access to divine knowledge. Answer after answer. The second one is, no matter how many times he was asked, he would give reasons until the day of judgment of the fact that knowledge is more important than wealth. Knowledge, hikmah. The most important thing that the Imam Al-Hujjah Ajalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif will come back and will get, and he will spread. The most important one of them is knowledge and guidance. Yes, it is important that he will spread wealth, and it's part of the promise that the wealth will be spread amongst people. There's a hadith that at his time people will not find someone to give their sadaqah. People want to be khayr, they want to be good. You want to give sadaqah, you won't find people to give sadaqah. Anyone you come to give sadaqah, no, wallah, thank you. That is the extent of khayrat and goodness that he will bring to humanity. However, the more important part is the guidance. That is the most important part. The most important blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon mankind is not food and drink. Food and drink, animals can eat and drink. They sleep and do everything that on the physical sense that we do, they do it. Those who are stuck in the world in terms of a good sleep, good food, good drink, good materialistic life, Quran says about them, أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ, or أُولَٰئِكَ يَأْكُلُونَ وَيَتَمَتَّعُونَ كَمَا تَأْكُلُ الْأَنْعَامِ. They live and they enjoy their lives like animals do. Then what happens? وَالنَّارُ مَثْوَى. If you're stuck in this world, your final abode is hellfire, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. If any of us. However, a godly person wants to get from dunya what he needs, al-kafaf, what they need, and most importantly seeks guidance. Al-Imam Al-Hujjah Ajalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, he will bring out the most important thing. He will bring out all the wisdom and knowledge and the hidden things that we needed answers for. So he will bring, in one hadith, we are told he will bring the Tawrat that is hidden, the Suhuf. Musa ala nabina wa alayhi wa alayhi salam had Suhuf. He had the tablets. He will bring them and tell the Jews and the followers of Nabiullah Musa ala nabina wa alayhi wa alayhi salam, he will tell them, these are the Suhuf, let us debate based on the Suhuf, based on the Tawrat. He will come to the Christians
He will say, this is Injil. He will bring out the hidden Injil, the hidden book of Nabiullah Isa ala nabina wa alayhi wa alayhi salam. And he will say, this is the book. Now let us learn the truth. That is the hidden treasure. That is the most important treasure. What about the Quran? He will bring the ta'weel of the Quran. He will explain the Quran. People, Muslims, reading the same Quran, one of the things that we use when we debate with any other religion, especially any Abrahamic religion, we say, your books distorted, changed. Quran, one and only one. All Muslims recite the one Quran. And in fact, our scholars prove, through many researches, most of our scholars believe that it's in the format that it's in. Some say maybe some ayat were in other places. However, most of our scholars, they say it's in the exact format that it's in. What about the Quran, the Mus'haf of Amir al-Mu'mineen? They say it had more ta'weel and asbab al-nuzul. He had written the real meanings of the ayat. He had written the reason of the revelation of the ayat. What is behind the surface of the ayat, that's what the Imam had written, and that's what they did not want. And when they refused it, he said, you will never see it until the day of the one who will come back. And he said, hatta qa'imina, until the 12th Imam, that he will come and bring that wisdom to us, so that we will not debate anymore about the Quran. The people who Amir al-Mu'mineen himself fought in Nahrawan, in one story, we are told Imam was walking in Kufa with one of his companions. They heard a nice recitation of the Holy Quran. The companion said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, this is such beautiful recitation. The Imam said, don't be deceived by a beautiful recitation. The man says, in my heart, I thought, why is he harsh on this reciter? The companion of Amir al-Mu'mineen, obviously, he didn't have the level of knowledge and wisdom of people like Malik and people like Ammar and the real companions. He doubted Amir al-Mu'mineen. He thought to himself that he is being harsh on the person reciting the Quran. When they fought in Nahrawan, the people of Nahrawan, Al-Khawarij, were people who had no mercy, like today's Daesh. You see today's Daesh? That was Khawarij. No mercy. They get to someone, you're not with us? Kill, stab, slaughter, behead, whichever way they can kill. Such people. They were Khawarij, that's what they were. A lady is pregnant, you're not with us? They kill her and the child and the father. This is today's terrorists. They fought Amir al-Mu'mineen in Nahrawan. He advised them initially until he had no choice but to fight them. They fought, he was victorious. Then he brought his companion, the one who doubted him. He said, remember the reciter of the Quran? He said, yes. He moved a body, he said, this is the man. This is the man that was reciting the Quran. He was reciting the Quran beautifully. Perhaps if any of us heard his recitation, we would think, MashaAllah, what a beautiful recitation. What happened? Qira'ah, recitation without reflection, no reflection, no understanding. Just the show, the surface. The Imam will come with all the wisdom. Al-Mahdi, Ajjalallah Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif, meaning he will be guided to all the wisdom and all the ta'weel and all the treasures in terms of the guidance that will bring to us. And that is what we should be awaiting. More so than anything else. We await the justice after the earth is filled with injustice. Peace after all the wars and terrorism. We await the wisdom and knowledge. In the hadith we are told even ladies in housewives in their homes become at the knowledge of mujtahid. That is the level of knowledge he will spread at his time. That is what we should be eager for and awaiting, because those are the people who are closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The ayah says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Indeed, only fears Allah the ones with knowledge. And that is what we want, more and more knowledge. Now the question and the last thing I want to, as the time is approaching for Salah, so we have a little time, 10 minutes. The most important part is that what can we do today about this? Now we know that the Imam, we learned, inshallah, all of us, we learned that the Imam is titled the Guided One because he will be guided to all the hidden wisdom and treasures of wisdom and knowledge. He will bring it out and he'll spread it. What should we do today about it? We're living at the time of the Imam. This is his time. What should we do today about this knowledge and guidance and his title, the title of our Imam? It's very simple. One thing that we all should do is follow the things that we know. There are things that the Imam is not here and we cannot find the right answers. And often our scholars debate about it and they cannot find the right answer. And each has an opinion. And so the followers sometimes end up fighting about the differences in opinion, which is very sad. We're approaching the month of Ramadan, the month of guidance, the month of mercy, the month of forgiveness. And throughout the month we try and purify and get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Comes the day of Eid, we want to all celebrate the Eid and unite. Then we have some people having Eid on one day, other people having Eid on another day. And a cause of a major, sometimes major problem in communities. And I advise brothers and sisters, do not enter in such debates and quarrels. Unite despite differences. Minute differences, unite despite them. Yes, one marja might say it's today, one marja says tomorrow, based on his opinion. We celebrate both days and we make sure that we respect everyone despite the differences and join together, come together for such celebrations, all of you. That is how it should be. That is what the Imam wants. That is the guidance. Now, why are we stuck in this situation? That is one of the problems and the bala, the calamities of the time of Ghaibah. The Imam is not here to tell us, this is the answer, full stop. So we have these debates. What do? We follow what we know. We act on what we know. We become Muslim, not by title, by action. Because the term comes from what? Al-Muslim comes from Al-Islam. Al-Islam is submission. Submission to who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I know this is wajib, I do it. Don't worry about the big issues, complicated issues. What will happen when so many people come and ask so many detailed questions about what is going to happen when the Imam comes. Is he going to live 7 years or 70 years or, so many detailed questions. And I say to them, it might be nice to know. However, what matters is what am I doing today as a servant of the Imam. The Imam is the guided one. He is the one who brings the guidance and spreads it on earth. What can I do about it? Follow the guidance that we have. We have so much guidance, follow that. In the hadith we are told, one of our greatest scholars, the late Ayatollah Bahjat, Ridwanullah ta'ala alayh, he was visited by some students of the Hawza. They said, our dear scholar, our teacher, advise us, how can we reach the higher levels in knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the irfan, being closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He says it's very simple. act on the things that you know. You don't need to research too much and worry too much. As long as you act on what you know, then you will be given knowledge of what you do not know. And then he gives them the hadith. من عمل بما يعلم كفاه الله أو أورثه الله ما لا يعلم. Whoever acts on what he knows, he or she knows, God will give them the knowledge of which they do not know. I'm stuck in a situation, I don't know the ruling. Somehow God will give me that knowledge. Inspiration, a teacher, a scholar, some friend, whatever, whichever way someone will come and I will have the knowledge. Provided I am one who acts on what I know. If I'm not, it won't come to me. Why? Because I won't act on it. I know something, I don't act on it. They're very simple things. Prayers, establishing prayers. If one does not establish prayers, he's not going to get anywhere. Praying on time. One of our greatest scholars, Al-Allama Al-Qadi, in fact, the teacher of Ayatollah Bahjat and Al-Allama Tabatabai and many of our great scholars, he was their teacher. When he was asked about reaching the levels of Irfan and so on, he said, pray on time. Simple. And he says, you pray on time. If you don't see the change, and that in Farsi we call it jahesh, that not regular move, but a jump towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you do not see that, then you can curse me. He says it with confidence. Prayers on time. Very simple. عَمِلَ بِمَا يَعْلَمُ. Act on what we know. We have so much guidance. Do we act on it? There's a hadith that if our followers, this is a hadith from the Imam himself, the present Imam, Ajalullah Ta'ala Faraj al-Sharif, during the time of his nuwab, his representatives in the minor occultation in Al-Ghayb al-Sughra. This hadith should be written in every house, in every room, as a reminder. If our followers acted and followed us in their action, while they had their hearts, they were close to each other, very important. Love one another for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Ahlul Bayt, their love. We read in Ziyarat Ashura, إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم وولي لمن والاكم وعدو لمن عاداكم. I am in peace with those in peace with you. Who? Ahlul Bayt. I am an enemy of those who are your enemy. I am a friend of those who are your friend. In your city, you know someone is a follower of Ahlul Bayt, you should have nothing but love in your heart for them. Love deep within you for them. Your actions should be based on love, not God forbid jealousy, not God forbid vengeance, hatred, any, or the racism and none of that. Your actions should be based on love for one another, for the sake of the Imam. He says, if that's how they were, they would not be in the calamity of us being away from them. لَمَا أَخَّرَ اللَّهِ. In the hadith he says, God would not have delayed if they were acting on what they know, following our orders, and at the same time in love with one another. على توالف تآلف بينهم. They are in love with one another, friends with one another. If that's united, in other words, if they were united and following us, there would not be any delays in reappearance of the Imam Ajjalullah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us, to follow the teachings of our Prophet and his progeny and our present Imam. We ask him to make us amongst the sincere lovers and followers of our present Imam, amongst those who will be amongst his soldiers and his helpers, Ansarihi wa A'wanih, and those who will fight with him, inshaAllah, the enemies, and we will, inshaAllah, be victorious with him, defending him al-dhabina an, inshaAllah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who listen to what he said and follow what's best. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali baytihi al-tayyibin al-tahirin.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali